AIGA. First of all, what's that stand for?
So it used to stand for the American Institute for Graphic Arts. Now as an organization, we're AIGA, the Professional Association for Design. So it was updated in the past.
How big of a deal is it to be a member? You can say a big deal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, a big deal. So AIGA has been around for over 100 years as a national organization. There's well over 75 chapters now. So in a lot of major cities and several in certain states.
Tell me about this archive series.
Yeah, so in 2019, we decided we were going to do a series of events with an organization in town called the West Michigan Design Archives. So that's a group of individuals who several years ago really recognized the need for an archive of work that has come out of this area. So us as AIGA West Michigan just also wanted to be able to kind of use our network and our membership to support that initiative in some way. So we created a series of 4 events. We hosted 2 of those events in Kalamazoo, 1 in Grand Rapids and 1 in Saugatuck. And we did a large gallery show, one night only, kind of sneak peek of some of the work that was in the archives. And we did a different theme every quarter as well.
I want to point out some of the pieces that are on display for you so you'll know what you're looking at. The Valentine Fortunes is a fun piece. It contains die cuts, doilies that were inserted and glued. The piece is scored. It's accordion and double gate folded and has wire O binding.
What's the intent of AIGA? Why do you exist for over 100 years?
Mm-hmm. So AIGA was really created as a place to support design and designers. So design excellence, to always celebrate the history of design, and then also to continue propelling that component of our careers forward, and also just to build it more into the world, trying to, get design to become a bigger part of business and community and things like that.
Is design art?
At times, yes, and at times, no. And I think that's where there is certainly an artistic component to some design. And I think you could view anything artistically. I think that design is really truly solving problems, whereas art sometimes I think is more expression focused, and maybe coming from the lens of the person creating. But I certainly think the lines are extremely blurred. In my work, I work with a lot of fine artists. I do art licensing, and I take artwork and put it on product. And it's the putting on product part of things that is the design component, but you certainly need the trend and the color and the shapes and the artistic expression to be there first and foremost.
The other piece I'd like to point out is the Flesh by Warhol down there. That was a promotion for a film that was shown in Western's art department back in the 70s. And you can see that it's designed in the Warhol style, where he took a common object, simplified it, made it big, repeated it, and screen printed it. This was done from a continuous roll of craft paper, just like you'd buy it off the shelf, and it was silk screened in the hallway of what was then Sangren Hall during the night time, and they rolled it off the roll and printed every other one. If you're familiar with screen printing, you know that you can't print them exactly next to each other, so when it dried, they'd go back and print the one in between. And then they rolled it up on the other end. So then the night of the film, they put it on one of those carrier things, and when people paid 75 cents for the ticket, they'd pull off one of those and give it to them. So for 75 cents, people got a poster and got to see the film.
Wow, the life of a graphic designer. Describe.
Yeah. So design can be really broad. There's so many different avenues that someone could take if they were going into design, and they're being added every day. New discoveries as technology changes and the world changes, and the need for different creative thinking skills kind of gets brought into other career tracks and things. I think, first and foremost, usually, you study shape and form. Typography is a big part of design. So how things are viewed and read, how information is communicated. If you think about, the people who used to typeset newspapers, right? They were like the first graphic designers, people who overlaid photography into communication design, things like that. There is design in probably every field in some capacity. There is a designer out there who creates the medical books that doctors use to study.
Design this.
Absolutely, yep, exactly. There's a phrase that they say, really good design is invisible, which means you don't even notice it's there. You notice when a chair is made poorly, but you don't exactly notice when a chair is made really well, because it just works and you don't think about it because a designer made it that way.
The tricks and treats piece, the trick is, how do you get into this thing? And once you do, there's a pumpkin mask, a design your own candidate for the election, very appropriate for this year, and a fold out with moving mouths that if you do this, it gives thanks and gobbles a turkey meal. That one's scored, die cut, drilled, hand folded, and assembled.
So I guess would you do it all over again? Would you start with your craft and then obviously get involved with the AIGA? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. AIGA in general has completely taught me skills that I never would have gotten through my schooling, and then also even in my career. It gave me a community, it broadened my horizons, and it just did a lot for me, taught me leadership skills, all of those other things. And so really it's been a huge part of who I am in my career. So I would absolutely do it all again.
Great. Thanks for your time.
Support for Kalamazoo Lively Arts is provided by the Irving S. Gilmore Foundation, helping to build and enrich the cultural life of Greater Kalamazoo.